ISO-Chemie. Use the blue technology.
Guten Tag. Sind Sie auch einer?
Are you one of those customers who often ask us whether we also offer the right screws for installing the WINFRAMERs, or whether we have the right anchors for installing window elements with fall protection? We can now answer both these questions in the affirmative. These needs are met by our ISO-Chemie WF fixing system. This system comprises screws and the appropriate anchors. On the reverse, you can see the table listing the necessary screw length to suit the supporting surface to which they will be fixed. Let's start with the screws. Here you need to note the following things: the shape of the head and, naturally, the length. The screws are called ISO-Chemie WF screws. FKT30, that is the head type, and then the screw thickness of 7.5mm, and lastly the length, for example 132mm. So here we have a countersunk head screw and a pan head screw. We use the countersunk head screw with the WINFRAMER Type 1. Here you can see the head sunk into the board, roughly flush, so that the insulating core can then be masked off again and the screw head does not get in the way. And the screw with the flat head, i.e. the FK screw, we use this one for the WINFRAMER Type 3. Here we can see nicely that the head settles onto the surface and thus produces the contact pressure that I will need for bonding the WINFRAMER to the substrate. This means that the shape of the head is important. Depending on the WINFRAMER type, and the length is determined logically from the WINFRAMER projection and the necessary fixing depth in the substrate. This will differ considerably between concrete and aircrete, of course. So, the ISO-Chemie WF screws. When you order, carefully check the head shape, the length, and if you specify it in the order, onto which the supporting surface the WINFRAMER is to be fixed. Then we can supply you with the right screws and you will have the on-site WF adhesive, the WINFRAMER, and the screws needed for perfect and rapid installation of the ISO-Chemie WINFRAMER. Now we turn to the topic of fixing of window and door elements with the fall protection, specifically ETB Compliant fixing, i.e. the fixing of windows to provide appropriate protection against falling. The ISO-Chemie WINFRAMER has these console slots in the back for exactly this purpose. When the WINFRAMER is installed, the aluminium brackets are inserted into these slots, so the position of these attachment points must be planned and implemented when the WINFRAMER is fitted. Here we can see the finished installation. The window has been screwed through the WINFRAMER into one side of the aluminium bracket, while the second side is against the wall. The screw goes through the WINFRAMER, through the aluminium bracket into the building, thus creating the fall protected fixing. The big advantage of this installation method is that we do not penetrate the functional level, i.e. the thermal insulation, soundproofing or airtightness level. This makes it the most elegant fall protection version. It also does not require a tie plate in the window reveal that will have to be plastered over. The second variant that we have in the range is for ETB compliant fixing of window elements is the ISO-Chemie ETB tie plate EL. This is a flat anchor available in 200 and 250mm lengths. This anchor can be fitted during window installation or retrofitted. This means that the attachment points need to absorb this load appropriately can be subsequently retrofitted because the tie plate, as a flat anchor, can be inserted into the assembly joint. Here we can see it on the installed element. So the multifunctional tape is attached first, then the anchor is inserted into the assembly joint as required and fixed in place with the screw. And it's important, when I simulate this installation situation, that this tie plate lies flat against the wall so that no leaks can occur in the joint connection area between the multifunctional tape and the window reveal. The ISO-Chemie ETB tie plate EL is thus also an ideal solution for the subsequent fixing of windows in compliance with the ETB directive. The third variant for fixing windows with fall protection in conjunction with our ISO-Chemie WINFRAMER is the ISO-Chemie JUSTA ETB Anchor BA. Again, we are using a flat anchor, but in contrast to the other one that I have already demonstrated, here we are using a screw that can be adjusted. This means that this anchor is fitted to the frame before the window is installed. Then this screw and the ISO-Top adjusting tool are used to move it into the appropriate position, i.e. so that it is turned fully against the window reveal so that the tie plate lies against the window reveal, and the multifunction tape, as we will see in a moment, settles around the tie plate. Here you can see it as installed. Again, the multifunction tape is attached first, then the anchor is drilled, the multifunctional tape is drilled through as required, the anchor is fitted, then the window is placed in the window reveal with the anchor. And you can see that the anchor lies flat against the window reveal, and when I screw the tie plate in position, I do not damage the airtightness level in that area. And the window can be fixed in place with fall protection. ISO-Top JUSTA ETB Anchor BA. Now we come to our fifth member of our ISO-Top WF fixing family, the ISO-Top JUSTA TT bearer plate. The JUSTA TT bearer plate solves a problem associated with window installation using multifunctional tapes. If I want to install the window with a multifunctional tape on the reverse, I generally have to split the multifunctional tape at the bottom in the vicinity of the blocks and then mask it with one of our pads, for example. It is simpler if we drill and screw this bearer plate into the window after fitting the multifunctional tape and can then adjust the height of the window during installation using the ISO-Top adjusting tool. The multifunctional tape is then able to expand past this screw in this position and so mask the joint. The ISO-Top adjusting tool has two different jaw sizes. Each has a ratchet function for releasing or, if necessary, for turning the screw to raise or lower the window. You can see that down here. The bearer plate is fitted and I can use the tool to adjust the height of the window as appropriate. The ISO-Top JUSTA TT bearer plate for transferring window loads. The next time you place an order for the WINFRAMER, think about the fixing elements as well. The screws, tie plates, anchors, bearing plate and of course the ISO-Top adjusting tool.